Hey everybody, how y'all doing? Thanks for joining me for another edition of Electric Avenue's YouTube channel. And we're doing the new releases for March 17th, 2023. It was 3 years ago this week that the store went into lockdown for the coronavirus pandemic. So mark that milestone. 3 years, and we were closed for about 3 months at that time. And we would not be here today were it not for the support of all of you who were extremely integral in keeping the store afloat, whether it be through requests online, pickups at the door, uh, delivered to some people's houses, like a pizza delivery guy. We did whatever we could to survive. It was a tough time for everybody, particularly tough for small businesses, and somehow we made it through, and we're still here. So, and we're coming up on our 10th anniversary soon too, so that's pretty exciting. Um, Obviously, if you look at this vestige, you can tell that I've been in the business for more than 10 years. I was at a store for 17 years prior to that, and worked at various stores prior to that. So, talking 30, 35 years at this point, constantly working in a music setting. So while you can get a lot of information from Google and such, I'm sort of like a walking encyclopedia of useless information. So, uh, not saying ask me any question because I do not know if I can answer any question. But I feel like I've lived a few lifetimes in the music business. So, that being said, we're really proud that it'll be 10 years, and I'll probably talk more about that as we come up to that. But the last three being particularly roller coastery, and maybe someday if I decide to do a memoir, you can read all about it. So, all right, not like you all haven't lived your own stories for those 3 years. So, all right, so onward and upward. Get to some new releases today. Hey, look what's back in stock too. Alice in Chains facelift. Got a few of them. Was not expecting that at all. Haven't seen it for 2 years. If you're interested, I would not wait because I cannot tell you they'll be here for very long. The only reason that I think we have some is I think some people haven't realized that we have them. So they're going to realize it soon. All right, new releases though. Big release this week. Biggest probably U2. This is Songs of Surrender. So we've had Songs of Innocence, Songs of Experience, and now Songs of Surrender. Now you can tell these are not current pictures of all of the guys. Bono does not look quite this youthful now, but these are acoustic reimaginings of many songs from their career. This is the box set edition on vinyl. It's 4 records, 40 songs, and so they're doing like acoustic versions of one, Where the Streets Have No Name, Beautiful Day, Pride in the Name of Love, and then songs like Red Hill Mining Town, Dirty Day, things that are hits, and then things a little off the beaten path too. So I'm kind of interested in at least hearing this, and they're a heritage band at this point, I think, and so they're allowed to do it. It's either this or doing orchestral versions of the career. And there's a Who record coming out where it's with orchestra. Just announced a Def Leppard with orchestra. So I think that that's going to be kind of another thing that we start seeing a lot. If it's not live records or acoustic records, it's going to be orchestral ones. So, and then this is the regular white vinyl edition for indie stores. Apparently, there are like 10 or 12 different color variants on this album. This one has 16 of the 40 songs. So if you're not down for the entire duration of the whole U2 package, this is sort of a nice addition of a compilation that the Edge sort of came up with. So, all right. And that should be probably everywhere this weekend on the media. The media. All right. M83 Fantasy. Well, this is quite an interesting cover. And I think M83 have sort of trafficked for a while in sort of kind of like horror films slash kind of electronica and prog sort of stuff. And their last record was pretty poppy, but that was been 5-6 years now. So I'm kind of interested to hear what this is all about. But this is the limited edition blue marble version, double vinyl and gatefold sleeves. So yeah, I think Anthony Gonzalez has had a little while to come up with a lot of material. So, and I think it's set up in sort of parts, like there's parts 1, 2, 3, 4, something like that. So yeah. All right, another new release this week, Unknown Mortal Orchestra V or 5, probably 5. I'm assuming this might be the 5th album, I'm not sure. But this is on a limited edition Legendary vinyl. Legendary is usually kind of a swirl or something like that, so I'm not really sure, but it says gatefold includes download. This is a great cover. Obviously, this was probably taken at a zoo from two sides of the glass or a museum. But anyway, yeah. So they're usually sort of like, I would call them like indie funk soul, sort of like mixture of indie rock and soul. But all right, Black Crowes. Well, who would have thought this would have happened? The Black Crowes doing Shake Your Moneymaker live. Which was their big debut record. And you got pictures of the Robinson brothers here. This looks very nice, actually. And they do not only songs like Hard to Handle and Jealous Again, but they also do some cover songs, I see. Papa Was a Rolling Stone sort of jumps out at me. I see She Talks to Angels is here. Not a cover. But yeah, so if you like Black Crowes and you kind of maybe either missed the recent tour or you just like them a lot, looks like a good thing to pick up. Herbie Hancock's Empyrean Isles. This is the next in the Blue Note classic series, and these are all remastered from the original analog tapes by Kevin Gray at Coherent Audio. This is one of Herbie Hancock's greatest albums, featuring Freddie Hubbard, Ron Carter, and Anthony Williams. You know, the interesting thing here is not that this album is probably sounding better than ever on this edition, or one of the best for the price, but there was supposed to be a Sam Rivers also today, and for some reason, or yeah, it did not ship. And none of the distributors had it. So I don't know if there was some sort of a manufacturing holdup, if there was some sort of error. Hard to say. But anyway, be on the lookout for a Sam Rivers title soon. 10 years after, Space in Time. This is the 50th anniversary remaster of this album. And what they did was they did Half Speed Master at Abbey Road. And this features a 2023 mix by Chris Kimsey, who I believe did the original and also the original 1971 mix. So really 52nd anniversary, right? I think they were trying to get it out a couple years ago. Then the pandemic happened and it sort of got put on the back burner. So anyway, that is new release for this weekend. One of my favorite sort of alternative bands. I don't know, are they alternative? They're kind of mainstream alternative now. Flaming Lips. Ego Tripping at the Gates of Hell, which is the first time that this has been on vinyl. And this is an EP, 7 Yoshimi era tracks released in 2003. Features 4 non-album tracks on glow-in-the-dark green vinyl. And one of the tracks is A Change at Christmas, which is sort of their Christmas song, which is great. The other one is Fight Test, which is another great EP from the Yoshimi era. And this one is 7 Yoshimi era tracks released in 2003. Includes Do You Realize remix, the song Thank You Jack White, and some live covers on Ruby Red vinyl. They do Golden Age, Knives Out, which is a Radiohead song, and Can't Get You Out of My Head, the Kylie Minogue classic. I love that song actually, and it's a very different version from Flaming Lips. But anyway, these are on, like I said, color vinyl. I don't know how limited they are. I don't think they're super limited, but I don't think there's a ton of them. There is a Flaming Lips box set for Yoshimi coming out soon on vinyl. The CD, as you can see behind me, has been out for a few months now. It's one of those like last year where they had the Nirvana Nevermind box set out on CD way before the vinyl came out. So a couple of metal reissues this week. Motorhead Snakebite Love and Motorhead's We Are Motorhead. So two sort of mid-late period albums that you don't see very often. These are on red and green vinyl as well. Another interesting band that I'm glad they're getting some of these things out. 10th anniversary of Pedestrian Verse by Frightened Rabbit. I don't know if you sort of know their history. Their lead singer sort of ended with a tragic death just a few years ago. And yeah, so thankfully they're trying to get more of Frightened Rabbit stuff out to the public again, albeit in a very small, limited quantities usually. I showed 3 of these a couple weeks ago, but 3 more. Subhumans. This is Split Vision, 2029 Split Vision, sorry. Time Flies, but Airplanes Crash. And the third one here, trying to remember the name. Oh, it escapes me. Someone out there is going to tell me what this is. I forget. Anyway, there's 3 Subhumans. There were 3 last week or 2 weeks ago. They're all on colored vinyl, purple for indie stores, limited. So this one, oh, this is the EPs. I'm sorry. It has Demolition War and Evolution, Religious Wars. Yeah. If you like your 80s punk. Let's see. 1000 Gex. I always trip over that name. This is their album 10,000 Gex, I believe. Can someone explain to me what all of this means? I mean, I love electronic music and I love a lot of Aphex Twin and stuff like that. There's a very sort of like Dada-esque quality about this duo, and it's all glitchy and very, very electronic. And it's interesting. I don't know if I enjoy it, but maybe it's not for me. I think I've aged out of it, maybe, but I used to love stuff like this, so I don't know, being a sort of an industrial fan back in the day and techno and all that stuff. GA20, Live in Loveland. So if you like your blues rock, live album from these guys on Karma Chief Records, associated with Coal Mine. And yeah, sort of another kind of Black Keys type band. There officially looks like 3 guys now. I think for a while it was just 2. But anyway, 100% blues, a pure marvel and delight, says Rolling Stone. So, Steven Wilson of Porcupine Tree. Boy, this cover is kind of it's drawing me in online. This is his album, The Raven That Refused to Sing. It's a reissue of this album of the year 2013 for Prog Magazine and 5 stars from The Guardian. Yeah, this has been out on vinyl before, but it's not been reissued for a long time. So anyway, I think most people know Steven as either the leader of Porcupine Tree or the guy that remasters all of Jethro Tull's and XTC and Yes and whoever else. He does a million remastering jobs, but the guy's he knows what he's doing. John Lee Hooker. This is the Country Blues of John Lee Hooker. This has been reissued and released many times, but this one is on limited edition clear vinyl, number 377 of 500. I know they didn't make many of these, but anyway, it's this record is a good classic, and it's always good to see that around. Lightning Hopkins, same sort of thing. This is Destination Moon Records, which I'm not familiar with, but this is also clear vinyl, number 74 of 500, so not too many of those around. This has been out before, and it's just a reissue, Iggy and Ziggy Cleveland 77, but this time it's on a cool pink and silver splatter edition. And this is actually a great show. It starts with Raw Power in 1969, Search and Destroy, Sister Midnight, Fun Time, I Want to Be Your Dog at the end. Cool hearing Bowie with him. And then a couple of things, I don't know if I showed these or not. They were from like a week or two ago, but they've sort of come in again. Puscifer's Money Shot. So if you're a Tool fan, this record is sort of floating around, sort of an ancillary side project for them, I suppose. And the other one that last time I showed the other album, Under the Influence, Overkill's Taking Over. And this is on Half Speed mastered on pink marble vinyl. So if you like your 80s metal and you're looking for that. CDs. I've got a few to show. Not a lot. The new Theory of a Dead Man, which is kind of hard to read there on the camera. And actually, there's only 3. The new Drake, Honestly Nevermind. And also his album with 21 Savage, Her Loss. Those are on CD now, still not on vinyl. This album I know was sort of polarizing because it was very clubby, dancey, and Drake, people who were reviewing it were like, what is Drake thinking? I mean, I haven't heard it, so I couldn't tell you, but I mean, it worked for Beyonce, right? So, all right. Next week is a really big new release week, the 24th of March. That week we have Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon live at Wembley, live 1973. I know that. So from the era of those. Now there is a box set, the polarizing box set, which is it does feature a new remaster of the album, but it's $300. And the only way to get that is in the box. So most people are probably getting just a live record. So that's cool that they're putting that out. Still, it's an album of the era. And then the other things, new Lana Del Rey album with a very long title that escapes me. And I think there's an indie edition of that, and we've been told we're going to be heavily allocated on that. So don't count on that. You know, you just be happy if you can get a Lana Del Rey that day. And because it might be the regular edition. And the other thing is Depeche Mode. That's their new album, Memento Mori, and that's their first in 5 or 6 years now. First without Andy Fletcher, rest in peace. And let's see what else. Oh, I almost forgot Fall Out Boy. Their new record, Elton John, the deluxe version of Honky Chateau. As you know, there's another Elton coming for Record Store Day. And I've mentioned this before, Elvis Live 72, Nickel Creek, Caroline Rose, and, well, an assortment of other things too. So anyway, I'll talk about that more as we get to next week. But I don't really have a lot to talk about other than that today, except thanking you guys again for 10 years of support, which was a very wonderful thing. And just getting ready for Record Store Day, trying to get everything ready to go, and that takes some time and some doing. And I think this is going to be probably, from what people are saying, the biggest event that we've had, or at least one of the biggest. And I don't know, putting Taylor Swift on that list sure does probably raise the profile of interest. But there are a lot of other things on that list too. So go to recordstoreday.com and look at that list if you haven't. I've mentioned that before in these videos, and people are probably getting tired of hearing it. But and then also, just to mention quickly, the 31st, we have Boy Genius coming, that new album. There's the kind of Crazy Horse side project, and that's not the live, that's the regular album with other members of the band singing. New Pornographers, new record. The King Gizzard, we're finally getting laminated denim on vinyl, and also The Who with orchestra. And then we're into April, and I'll talk more about that too. Box sets like Linkin Park, Meteora, and of course April 14th, Metallica. And then the next week is Record Store Day, and so mark your calendars if you have not. It's getting close. All right, and we've sprung forward. That was a really tough weekend, by the way, and I'm still not adjusted to it. So there's something to be said for wanting to keep the time at the same time all the time. But I don't know. People say we'll be living in the dark, and I'm like, well, aren't we at night anyway? So go figure. Thanks so much. It's a little bit short, but have a great weekend, and appreciate you guys watching me. Thanks again. Thanks for support from far and wide. Peace.